So my man posted saying on the gram that June is Mental Awareness Month for men. And of course, we had Juneteenth, we had Father's Day, we had Yoga Month, we had Pride. So it was so much to keep up with. I think it just maybe skipped right over people, or they don't still want to proclaim it to be a big issue for our society. But I'll talk about it. Let's start off with when I first heard anything really dealing with mental issues. I heard it from a pastor. She pretty much was going into details saying that when we are dealing with mental disabilities or mental abilities, that or mental health, is that the enemy is present. Most people are stuck in between phases from a very great person, Rashad Jamal, or Jamal Rashad, however you say it. He spoke about the gas, plasma, liquid, and the solid forms. So with that being stated, I guess when you're bouncing in between these realms, I guess you may have different abilities and things that may hinder you, which you want to call a disability. You might start to suffer some mental health problems or blessings. I definitely do believe that dealing with your mental health comes with great strength and great power. Seeing that some things in your mind are dreams and visions, premonitions. Some things in your mind is telekinesis and just a whole bunch of neurons and a whole bunch of cells that's super interacting with the multiple ways that a person may see or describe something. So I'll start off with that. Everyone do your own research, because mental health is something that is very programmed, but very religious or very spiritual. That's why most people get it underneath control, as they venture out and do different things. Even though this is about men, this definitely can go for any non-binary human person, because we all have our mental. Some guys may suffer from mental issues or low self-esteem and low confidence due to their penis size, due to the lack of erection that they get, poor blood flow, too much drinking. They may become more effeminate due to them doing mixed breeds of sativas and THC and CBD. There's a lot of different reasons why someone might have low self-esteem, or even suffer from mental issues just based off of their lifestyle. You may live in the hood, you may live in the projects, you may be fearful for your life, so you feel like you always have to look around your shoulder, look over your shoulder. So those are some decent ideas to think about when it comes to dealing with mental health and why a guy might go through it. They might have poor immunity. Their father might not have been packing down low, so it just got pushed off to them. I'm just thinking, like, I wonder. I'm gonna look through my book to see if it has any relation to maybe some deficiencies, the reason why someone might feel some type of way. mentally. But it have insomnia in here. I suffer from insomnia, which is not really a mental issue. It's more so of a energy thing. Okay, so they definitely don't have any herbs or anything that may help. Okay, so that's one book. We have many others where it comes from. Let's see. Definitely in this book, it goes into details about a lot of stuff. So I will find a couple of pages. For starters, mental health. If you work out more, it'll take a lot of your mind off of things. So definitely those who do suffer from mental health, definitely get active. Do things that you love to do, things you never did before. So it releases your dopamine, your oxytocin, your serotonin, and your endorphins or something of that nature. Eating my yogurt. Okay. No. So it talks about emotional health. So let's talk about emotional health, and then I'm going to find one of these books that I have goes over some mental health. If not, then maybe I need to buy some books dealing with, oh, here we go. Mental health in the Hispanic community. But we have mental health in all communities. So we're definitely going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about emotional health, because most of you guys are emotional creatures, and it's good to understand how to deal with someone that has PTSD or anger problems or deal with anxiety or may have had a panic attack. When you do that hyperventilation, that's normally you're having a panic attack. If you're breathing that way and your chest is going really fast and it feels really tight, almost like a heart attack or something. So get your mind right. So all right. So silent no more. More men, more people need to come out and speak about their challenges in life. Mental health may be one. So there has been a silent situation in the inner city that has crushed many families over the years. This phenomenon exists within the lives of many men, women, and children in the hoods all over the world. It causes some people to believe they can fly or jump off buildings. It has caused frightened mothers to murder their babies. It has made others depressed to the point that they have completely given up on life, and still others were left to believe that they were the toughest gangsters alive, only to approach the wrong person with such aggression and and become the toughest gangster no longer living. These are the reflections of the same phenomenon. This phenomenon is commonly called mental illness. There are many variations: bipolar disorder, manic depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, postpartum depression, schizophrenia, ADHD, the list goes on. These titles are considered to be psychiatric diagnosis, which can be clinically or holistically treated. Let's take a closer look at some of these issues and some relative solutions. Many people have symptoms of mental illness but never diagnosed. In some cases, that's good because quite often people are misdiagnosed and left to believe the diagnosis is accurate. Not knowing what to do, they resort to psychiatric medicine and become a lab rat of all sorts as they prescribe numerous types of medication until they find what they think works best for them. On the other hand, there are those who strongly exhibit mental health symptoms that go unaddressed. When this occurs, it's not rare for a person to be laughed at and ridiculed in the street. You know, like the lady in Everybody Hood that dresses ghetto culture and talks to herself or cusses people out for no good reason, which is a symptom of schizophrenia. Another common symptom is outbursts of laughter without apparent reason. Another commonly unaddressed mental health situation is a person in everyone's family doesn't seem to catch on to the flow of life. For some reason, he or she sits at home every day watching television or playing video games. You have some people that have difficult time maintaining a complete thought. The person can be suffering from clinical depression. They don't have the motivation to get a job or attend school. This person doesn't say anything when you speak to them and seems to have difficult time maintaining a complete thought. After being beaten and forced to sleep in closets, she escapes. Oh, this has something to do about some lady. So let's see from the beginning, shall we? There are many unaddressed mental health issues in the hood, like the girl grew up in a single parent home, or a man grows up in a single parent home. Mom abuses drugs, dad may abuse drugs and is verbally and physically abusive towards him or her. The men her mom dates are abusive and in many cases sexually abusive, vice versa, because there's a lot of men that have been taken advantage of at a very young age by older women. And that needs to become a common conversation amongst men, because now you're trying to figure out why you like young girls as you're getting older, or why you don't want to deal with older females as you're getting older, or why you may not like women for real. So guys do need to speak about that more, and ladies need to come out and continue to speak about their sexual traumas too. The young girl or guy runs away from his or her foster parents to the streets in search of love and discovered by a pimp. Guys don't normally get pimped out though. Who convinces her to be a prostitute and further abuses her. After being beaten and forced into sleeping closets, she escapes from the pimp and attempts to live a normal life. She's angry and agitated most of the time, and she finally becomes abusive towards herself. Others, including violent outbursts to some people in the circle. It sounds like she or he may have post-traumatic stress syndrome. It is left untreated. This vicious cycle will wreak havoc in her life. Holistic thoughts. All health-related diagnoses are essentially holistic situations and should be resolved in a holistic manner. Holistic means the whole person, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. All health-related issues, diseases are a result of a chemical imbalance in the body. As far as mental health is concerned, it is too common for someone with a mental health diagnosis and people who advocate for them to focus on their mental and emotional stability. Although most mental health diagnoses surface as a result of some sort of trauma in one's life, one of the main culprits is improper physical consumption. High Priest Kiwatimani writes his book, Raw and Living Foods, the first divine act and requirement of a holistic living way of life, a diet of dead and devitalized food not only perpetuates mental, physical, and spiritual illness for the customer, but has even more devastating impact on that individual's children. Many studies suggest that men diagnosed with ADHD often have children with the same diagnosis. It is merely genetic, or it is passed down as a result of consumption and mannerism. In 124 Ways Sugar Ruins Your Health, Nancy Appleton, PhD, states that the sugar can cause depression and can worsen the symptoms of children with ADHD. Meanwhile, Amanda Gardner of Health Day magazine reports exposure to high levels of organophosphate pesticides commonly found on berries, celery, and other produce can raise the odds for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, in children. The vast amount of chemicals used to mass produce meats and poultry also has an effect on our chemical response in the body. Improper digestion of meats alone causes a chemical imbalance in the body that may result into mental health diagnosis. Our body were not constructed to digest animal flesh. Therefore, most meat eaters store undigested meat in the colon and in the storage of the animal's flesh, creates chemical imbalances that lead to the mental and physical disease. An open mind for your healing. As mental health pertains to spiritual wellness, I suggest you do what works for you as sincerely as you can, but be careful to avoid dogma. In other words, if you practice a religion or culture and not doing your best can result in feeling of guilt, stress, and many other unhealthy feelings. Avoiding dogma and realizing that true spirituality is a connection one has with a higher being, within higher self, higher power. We can be open-minded to all sorts of suggestions from the divinity that breathes through us. Regular meditation, yoga, and affirmations such as I am healing, I am not mentally ill, I am mentally able, and I can do it, can make a great mental spiritual difference in the life of someone with a mental health diagnosis. It is important that if you feel as though you may be severely depressed or any other mental health crisis, don't take it for granted. Talk to someone you trust and take action for your own healing. I was once diagnosed as bipolar. Through holistic living, the symptoms were reversed, and the doctor who I was seeing at the time said There was no way I was bipolar. I haven't taken any medication in 4 years to date off this writing. Get a doctor who feel comfortable with, one who doesn't give you prescriptions and send you on your way after minutes of each visit. Keep a doctor around in case you stumble, but don't wait for the doctor to tell you that you can overcome. Know it in your heart, then take all the necessary actions to prove it to yourself, and let the doctors know what you are doing for yourself. So get a mental health counselor, get a behavioral specialist, get a behavioral mentor. That's what I call them. For most people that never took those steps, if you have great insurance through your job, on the back of the card, it helps you find the list of programs around you. If you have Medicaid, there's a number on the back that you can use also. And just like they have mental health in the Hispanic community, but we're all one people. So we can all feel depressed because we don't feel connected to our roots. Black, white, Latino, African, Polish, Russian, it doesn't even really matter, to be honest. You may or may not have access to mental health care, or you might be living in poverty, or you might be unemployed. You might be criminalized, you might be discriminated in different ways. That can go for anyone and everyone. So I want to tap on one more thing. They have personality disorders defined as a severe disturbance in the character or psychological constitution and behavioral tendencies. Antisocial personality disorder. We have borderline personality disorder, the historic personality disorder, pervasive attention-seeking behavior, including inappropriate sexual, seductive, and shallow or aggravated emotions, narcissistic personality disorder, a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, need for admiration, and lack of empathy. You just have so many disorders that a person can have. You have people that are OCD, abusive. That's not abusive. I diagnosed myself with obsessive compulsive disorder when I was 19. It's an anxiety disorder where anxious thoughts constantly invade your mind, and you do whatever is necessary repeatedly to ease your anxiety. So like the people that continuously clean all day because they're trying to ease their anxiety. Compulsion is a behavior, although it may be very real to us, or rituals do not make sense to people who are inflicted with this disorder. At times, we even realize that some of your behaviors are irrational, but many times can still help ourselves. This is a great book. Some stuff I actually did touch on. I'm not going to go over all of it, because if you want to read more, learn more, go on to Amazon, or even go to there's a lot of black owned libraries, black owned bookstores where I'm sure they will have this book. I just want to touch on this emotional thing. So like I was telling y'all too, you could eat a little different, fast, do yoga, work out more, do the things that make you happy. If it's wash cars, buy clothes, take a walk in nature, it truly helps. Hang around different people, go paint something, go to a pottery class, learn how to play an instrument. There's so many different things you can do to occupy your mind and your body. Okay. What is Emotional Health by Queen Chung Kwai Earth. Emotional health is an aspect of mental health that compasses and encompasses stress management, depression, or other mental emotional factors that can slow you down or damage your overall health. Dealing with difficult people lead to dealing with situations that can be stressful and emotional draining. I was once told, quote, if you can't change your situation, change your attitude. This means that instead of complacency or complaining, have a positive outlook and hopefully a hopeful attitude will enable you to make the best of your situation. When life gives you lemons, you should make lemonade, right? Absolutely. Poor emotional health can lead to poor physical health. Have you ever seen a person and thought to yourself, she must, well, quote, she must be going through something. This person can be well dressed, smell good, and even seem to have everything. Yet we can always tell if deep inside a person isn't truly happy. Our body carries energy that speaks louder than designer brands and luxurious threads. A person carrying negative energy can be felt once they walk into the room. You can't wait to be that person. If you can be visually, you can visually see and feel stress on another person. You must be able to identify it with yourself. Y'all, I had this thing on yogurt and I put like these honey bee nuggets in it, and I think it's messing with me a little bit because I stopped eating them and then my body got used to it and then I went back to it, and then my family suffers from being allergic to bees. So to eat bee pollen is like really crazy, and that's what I'm doing. So I can kind of feel it a little bit, but I know it's going to pass over. But it's like hindering me talking right now or reading this book. So, poor emotional health can lead to, okay, we read that already. What are some signs of emotional distress? Acting out or lashing out, depression, extreme sadness, social withdrawal, stress, anxiety, anger, mood swings, unhealthy attachment, compulsive behavior, body dysfunction, constipation, headaches, hair loss, infections, sudden illness, spontaneous weight loss or gain, lack of energy, sexual dysfunction, physical violence to yourself or others. If you still find yourself having trouble getting your mind on track, seeking the guidance of a trusted friend or family member, self-help books, or professional help is available. If you have exhausted all of your resources and you are considering seeing a therapist or a support group, do so. Don't worry about anyone else and what they think of your decisions. It may save your life. As a man or woman thinketh, so is he, she. I always heard of thinketh, so doeth. So this right here threw me off a little bit. So as a man or woman thinketh, so is he or she. That makes sense now. The true power of you lies within your mind. PTSD is another form of emotional health. And if you do have anger problems, there's one weakness that will destroy you faster than any other is anger. Think about it. We kill each other over anger. We lose our jobs over anger. We end up doing life in prison after one fit of anger. We are fucking angry. And we have a right to be angry, but it's like, acknowledge your anger, and in time and in your journey, so it will pass too. Just acknowledge it and don't let it live within inside you. We all get angry. I get angry sometimes. Like, it's been so much blood shed, so much blood spill. It's nothing that we can do about it, but we can try our best to prevent more blood from being like spilled. We can try to stop our young youth from going to prison and jail or dying. And robbing, that is a big thing that's going on. The robbing is literally getting out of control within the DMV area, and there's so much money floating around where you could really go work for it instead of harming someone's life for it, and it's literally just a quick fix. It's really sad, but we can talk about this another time, a little bit more about anger. But we all have anger problems, and we should definitely consider it. I think I want to read one more part from anger, and then leave comments, suggestions if you do want me to speak about something. I have plenty of books that I could read from, and we could just like have a little conversation about these things. Finally, if you don't think that anger and other emotions have any effect on your health, you're really missing a big part of the picture. That's why there's a whole chapter in this book dedicated to emotional health. The relationship between your emotional state and your physical well-being is well documented. Study after study has proven that not only can your moods and your mind states be affected by what you eat or do, but your emotions themselves can have a big impact on your wellness, as Dr. Craig Summers wrote in Raw Food Bible. And I'm going to give you a couple of ways to reduce your stress. So learn to say no. People can drain you. You're helping them to be more stress-free while killing yourself in the process. Get more sleep than you currently are getting. Your brain can sort a lot of things out when you're resting. Exercise vigorously at least 3 times a week. Exercise is a great at combating stress, strengthening the body defense against future stress-related problems. Know your values and priorities and be true to them. Laugh more. Realize that life is continuously subject to growing pains, and that with each growing pain, you will learn tolerance and become happier, better person. Eat more well-balanced diets. Stay away from foods that create stress on the body symptoms. So just take a couple of days where you don't eat at all or don't eat meat. Meat has been like passed down to us, so it just hits differently. And then I think about dinosaurs and stuff, how there was different type of dinosaurs that only ate fruit, only ate vegetables, some only ate meat. So you might be a part of the dinosaur family if you can't really get away from it and it makes you feel sick and all of that stuff. I strongly believe it. Making unrealistic demands on yourself is a big cause of stress. Don't do that. Take frequent short vacations. Even if you can't afford Aruba, you can afford a trip to the nearest lake. So I was going to go to Potomac River yesterday. So like I said, being in nature is a really good thing. Get comfortable in a chair, close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. This is another way to reduce stress. And smile even if it's just to yourself, and tell yourself you feel good, you are good, and you are healing. So do more powerful affirmations. Again, this is the Hood book, the Hood Health Handbook, 2nd edition, volume 2. I believe they have a volume 1, and they might have others. It goes over exercise, weight loss, mental health, survival and first aid, sex, avoiding toxins, beauty, raising healthy children, and so much more. So, very good book. Something that I read through a couple of times, and something that I just read to y'all. So happy or great healing. So yeah, it's just great healing on your journey, you know what I'm saying? And another thing is, I wanted to say Happy Awareness Month for mental health within our men and within our women. Get more serious about your mind, body, and your spirit, and try to make them as well balanced as possible. And that's just all we can do. Is just literally sometimes take days and take times to just meditate with ourselves, focus. First thing out of bed, you don't have to jump up. You can do some morning stretches. You can do a good little affirmation. I will have a great day. I will make this amount of whatever. Like, whatever it is that your goals are for your mind, body, and self, like, get it done. So, hope you enjoyed. And they got a lot of meditation music or spa music online. So, before you jump out of bed and listen to all the stuff that you're normally listening to, just listen to some spa music and get your mind ready for your journey for the day. Much love, much compassion. I care about a lot of different people. I care about myself. So since I love and adore myself, I love and adore you all too. And that's why it's so easy for me to love a person, because I have always had self-love. And it comes in different ways. So some people don't want to hear it. Some people do want to hear it. Some people never thought they could hear it. So just always express your compassion for people, your caring for people, and they'll get over it in the most beautiful way. So take care, everyone. Do your own research, read your own books, buy your own books, and yeah, that's how we heal each other, is by studying together. Have a great day.